Alright, so I got this box from British Customs for a Fender Eliminator and the turn signal relocation. Let's see how this comes. Did a really good job of shipping it, same day ordered it. A lot of stuff. Alright. So, invoice. Hooray. Here's the black and amber turn signals. Wiring harness for the turn signals. Interesting. The mounts for the turn signals. And the Fender Eliminator with the protector that goes underneath the frame. So here's all the parts for the Fender Eliminator. Obviously the Eliminator itself, the plastic, or I guess it's metal panel to protect the underside of the bike, the wiring harness, which is 2 pieces, and then a bag of hardware. There are no instructions. I'm going to look online. I know that there's instructions online for the plate. Not that I think it's going to be that hard to figure out, but it would be nice if they were in there. One thing of note is everything was vacuum packed in this stuff, and it was packed pretty tight. I had to cut part of it to get it out, so and at least that means it's all going to stay together and make it to you. A couple funny things here. These are not turn signals and not to be used where DOT is required. They're also not to be used as running lights. Retro turn signal. Since there's no instructions or wiring diagrams, it's good to have forums of people that have already blown fuses and figured out what you're supposed to actually do to wire this up. This is kind of a negative mark on British Customs. This should be either like pre-assembled, since I bought it all together with the wiring, or it should come with some pretty clear instructions. So about the instructions, there is a video online where they tell you what to do. I still think that should be something that comes with the thing you spent money on. Disconnect the tail light connector here, and then there's 4 T30 bolts to take off, which I'm gonna have to do differently. So this ain't gonna cut it. So my Torx head selection is pretty thin, so kind of went ghetto here with this. The bolts, but I see now these have some thread locker on them, which probably what made them a little tricky to get off. So here's the whole deal. Fender, this, you can see So the installation video says the shorter of the 2 screws provided. I have 3 types of screws, a whole bunch of lock nuts, and a whole buttload of washers. As I look, hopefully I have multiple devices. As I look here in the video, it looks like the medium length ones are the ones that are actually going through that part. Alright, so I think it's these. That kind of looks like what it did in the video. So I drop them down there and there. Watching the video again, I'm going to now take these back out, because in the video, without words, without instructions, put a washer on. I thought that would be the case. I would use a washer there, but I mean, I'm kind of flying blind at this point. So on goes the washer. Alright, now I can see I picked the correct length bolt. So I take the plate and hold it up here. And those shorter bolts would not have enough to catch on. I'm going to go ahead and put washers in because, you know, they should probably be there. Washer. Then washer and a nut. If I hold them together, they go on there better. Now I'm just going to tighten it all up. Something to be aware of is the actual light and such mounts below these. These screws are really long. I was using a standard socket. That's not deep enough, so I'm going to go back to Allen wrench plus standard wrench. Now we're getting to the fun part, putting the actual light itself on. I've got washers and the nuts handy. So I'm going to fit it in these grooves and just slides right in there. So I'm going to put a nut on a washer and a neat little stack. Try to put them perfect. Okay. And number 2. These are slotted, so this will go back and forth quite a bit. I'm going to start with it all the way back, and then if I need to, I'll be able to move it forward. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go look at the wiring. Okay, so now we're back on the other side of the bike, and it says to feed it through here. Which it's about right, and then get this little grommet here that looks to go there. Alright, so then in the video this comes up here. Great. This is all pre-wired. And it pops right in. Hooray, I've got quite a bit of excess wire that, let's see, like that. That will keep everything pretty tidy. There's no instructions about any of the rest of the wiring, the blinkers and whatnot. But for right now, let's see if this is gonna work. All right, we have running lamp, front brake, rear brake. So that's a good first step, huh? So these are a pretty simple piece, just a piece of metal with 2 holes in it. It'll mount onto the shock, I assume inboard, and then the signal will mount on 1 hole, and the wires run up through. There's no real good provisioning for the wiring, so I guess I'm all on my own for that one. So I'm assuming, since this is unloaded, that it should pop off pretty easy. And it did. How about that? Alright. Or maybe I was wrong and the big hole goes through there. Let's see. I'm gonna take the hardware off the light here. Which, I think these are plastic, I don't know. They don't feel the best. They look okay. The finish is okay. I guess if it's gonna go behind the light, that it's gonna have to be the big side that goes on the bike. But I just want to make sure that as I thread this through, yeah. Alright, so I told you wrong first time. Big end goes on the bike. Put that on there. Yep, just well, that was pretty simple. Okay, so I've got my thread locker. I don't know what else is on this crap. All over the tube. Put a little bit on. Zip this guy back in. I'm gonna go grab my torque wrench. I had looked up these values before, and I know that it is right about 20 foot-pounds. There we go. It's all. So hopefully this side goes as easy. There's all the exhaust in the way. I don't think it'll actually be in the way, so we'll see. All right, that guy loose. Actually, I have some shorter Bonneville shocks that at one point I thought I was going to put on here to lower this, but I like her with her ass in the air. Okay, that out, this out. Okay. She came off awful easy. Alright. Put that back on. Hooks the swing arm up just a little. And pops right back on. Okay. More thread locker here. Just a little. I guess to be proper I should go through and clear out what's in there, but I don't think it's really gonna matter much at all. Still have my wrench set to 20 pounds, where she needs to be. Again, this bolt doesn't hold anything. That post on the frame holds the shock. That bolt just keeps the shock from popping off the side. So, the biggest nut we're going to use today is what's going to hold this tiny little turn signal on, and it takes a big old 17 millimeter. The mounting on this side is pretty straightforward. Run it through. There's a lock washer, which I want going that way. Follow it up with that big nut. Run it up the wire here. Angle it to get it past the frame here. But it pops right on. Okay, I'm kind of using the line the muffler here to line it up to what I think is level. Tighten this up. Just got a ways to go. These will be easy to reposition even when they're a little tight. It does look pretty good. It's in pretty tight too. I was kind of worried about how big these guys were going to actually be and that they might interfere with the passenger, but that does not appear to be the case. So it looks like this will pop right up into here. Got my other harness with my super black, white to black. Does that make sense? And then black to red, And this one's on the right side, so I'm going to use this green colored part of the harness. Okay, that's all hooked up. Before I tidy it up, okay, taillight's still blinking. It looks a little crooked. I'm going to adjust that. Right signal. Okay, can't beat that. Alright, time for the last side, left side here. Same deal. Get the wire through, post through. That washer. Don't have that nice exhaust line to line up with, but I know it was just a little down from, line her up, just looking through. Just a little downward looking from the angle of the frame. Just like that. Okay. That's as finger tight as I can get it. And go ahead and keep her level while I snug it up here with the wrench. And you can really feel in that lock washer clenches in. Okay, she gets tight quick, which is probably good. I mean, this is not the most jiggle-free motorcycle in the world. All right. Do this wire up here. Do black and white. Black. Black. To red. Okay, I've got a good bit of extra wiring up here to play with. And I might zip tie up. Not might. Will zip tie up. That's a nice little function check. Okay. Front brake. Rear brake. Left. Right. And the front's work too. So it's all installed, and I didn't really screw anything up. So that's a big plus. Here we go with a little of the after. Got my plate bolted up. Everything looks pretty good. I had been looking at some of those tack shocks, but I think the gas reservoir will get in the way. So we'll scroll around here to this side. This side looks especially good. It's like a nice big gap right there. Just adds a lot more, makes the back a lot airier, which is nice and what I wanted. I'm not sure what to do with the stock muffler mount yet. I'd always threatened to make a holder for a skateboard, but right now the pipes and the turn signal would be in the way, so I'm gonna hold off on that and just enjoy her how she is now.